I was at school sitting at my table. I was sitting on my couch and it was very uncomfortable. I was eating my sandwich, making sure the jelly didn't make a huge mess. I was talking to my friends when the teacher called for silence. Everything went silent. I was surprised how quiet this lunchroom could get. I was so mad that I couldn't keep talking. I wanted to know what my friend would say next. I was so bored listening about when to clean up and to be quiet. For some reason, teachers talking is so boring. I really wanted to keep talking, and I could tell my friends were getting bored too. The teachers were making sure no one was talking. I could see it in their eyes. Then we had to clean up. We weren't supposed to be talking real loud again, but people still kept on talking. Not at all trying to be quieter. Next, we all went back to our seats. This was supposed to be the quietest time. I heard a lot of whispers, even some at our table. We all had our heads down, waiting to be picked to go outside at recess. Finally, we went out of recess and I played football. It was a close game, which is unusual because there's usually unfair teams. When we got back in from recess, I went straight to math. We learned about fractions and mixed numbers. Then I went back to my homeroom. We did passing time and I researched about my topic. Finally, the school day was over, and I could go home. I thought to myself, what a boring day this was. Later that day, I got dinner and then did my homework. I watched TV for a little bit, and then it was time to go to bed. I brushed my teeth, washed my face, got into my pajamas. Next, I went to bed. I thought to myself, tomorrow is going to be just like today. The next day, I woke up at around 7 o'clock a.m. I walked downstairs, half asleep. I fell on the couch trying to get comfortable. I watched the news for a little bit. There was breaking news. The camera switched to another one at the White House. A reporter said, breaking news. All the congressmen, representatives, and president mysteriously disappeared. The government is completely shut down. There is no rules or laws to follow until the government is up and running again. All house and school laws are banned as well. I thought to myself, yes, I can do whatever I want. But when there is rules, I can get in serious trouble. So I probably shouldn't break any rules. Then I got off the couch, walked upstairs, and went into my room. I quickly got dressed and walked into the bathroom. I saw my little brother brushing his teeth in a hurry, probably trying to be done with it and go play more video games. I walked over to the sink and grabbed my toothbrush. I accidentally put too much toothpaste on it, but I didn't care. I stuck in my toothbrush. I stuck in my mouth and saw my brother watching him from around the corner. Then I realized that the toothbrush was covered completely with toothpaste. My mouth felt like it was stuck together. I opened it up and toothpaste fell out. It was a toothpaste avalanche. I plopped on the sink and just lay there. I grabbed the cup and poured water until it overflowed. I dumped it into my mouth and swirled around. Next, I spit it out. In the sink was a huge glob of blue toothpaste and water mixed together. It almost flooded the sink. I ran out of the bathroom, charging to my brother. I screamed, "You little brat, get back here!" I was about to throw a punch when I thought, I shouldn't do this. I could seriously hurt him. I walked up the stairs. I said, "Mommy, Kyle hurt me and he broke a rule." My mom said, Didn't you hear on the news? There is no rules or laws." I mumbled, "Yeah, I heard." I went downstairs and ate my breakfast. At school, during indoor recess, I was playing on a computer when someone started throwing crayons and markers everywhere, and he shouted, "Crayon war!" Everybody jumped out of their seats and started hurtling crayons everywhere. I dodged a couple and darted around the room, trying to find a spot to hide. I was running around like a maniac. Then everything went into slow motion. Charlie threw a crayon at me. It spun like a boomerang right for my eye. I walked like I was on the moon, staring directly at the crayon. I said, "No, I'm too young to die." I jerked my head back, and the crayon flew by. Everything went back to its regular speed. I walked behind some cabinets and took a deep breath. I crawled along like a crab, trying to find crayons, markers, or something. I found a book just laying there, and taped a cord really hard to the back of it so it made a handle. I walked across an opening, and a crayon bounced off my shield. I quickly darted across. I crawled to the corner and found a basket full of crayons and markers. I screamed, "Jackpot!" Big mistake. Everyone charged out at me and I jumped for my life out of the pile. Look, I grabbed some crayons before I screamed, "Jackpot!" Finally, I found a table that was on its side, and now I could get more revenge. Now I could get some revenge. Everybody was still fighting over the crayon basket. I started chucking crayons at every single one of them. And then they all turned towards me with crayons in their hands. I started chucking crayons back. I desperately crawled around the room trying to find something I could throw. Then I found our teacher, huddled in the back behind a table. I whispered, "What are you doing? You're the teacher of this room. Why aren't you trying to stop this? Didn't you hear the news? There is no rules or laws," he said. "Yeah, I heard," I mumbled. I brought a chair over to the door, charged at it, and luckily the door flung open. Later that day, I was eating lunch. I thought to myself, this day just gets worse and worse. Then I remembered how boring lunch was yesterday. I walked to the lunch line and started picking my sides from the salad bowl. I walked up the lunch line. Then someone just walks right in front of me. "Hello, you just cut me," I said. There is no rules," he responded. Everyone started cutting people, and it became chaos. Finally, everyone stopped, and I ended up to be at the end of the line. Then I finally got my lunch and walked toward my table. I looked up at the clock. There was only 10 minutes left in lunch. I rushed over to my table and started eating. Right when I put the first fork in my mouth, the teacher called for silence. Just great, I thought to myself. I listened to the teacher, and I could hear a faint sound coming from the opposite side of the gym. I kneeled on my seat and could see someone talking. Everyone looked at him. For some reason, everyone thought that was a good idea and started talking. I asked someone, "Why are you still talking?" He said in a voice, "There is no rules or laws. I know it's the same kid from earlier today." I walked back to my seat. I just sat there ignoring everyone. I wondered why the teachers weren't taking charge. I knew there was no rules or laws, but they should still try. I walked up the stage and found the teacher behind the curtain. I asked him, "Why aren't you out there taking charge?" He said, "Didn't you hear the news? There is no rules or laws." I mumbled, "Yeah, I heard." I went out to recess and played football again. Surprisingly, I managed to get through the rest of the school day, though. After school, I was driving home. I could hear my brother in the back seat playing his video games. Then we pulled into a gas station right around the corner from our house. Ugh. I thought to myself, why can't we go home? I really don't like gas stations. They're so boring. I wish I could just go home. I saw that my brother was bored too. Then he got an idea. He closed his game and started walking to the front of the door. What in the world is he doing? I thought to myself. I saw him open the door and walk right past my brother. He walked around the corner and was out of sight. I screamed, "What? He can't do that." I went outside and said to my mom, "Didn't you see that? He just walked around the corner without anyone noticing." "Yeah, I saw. But didn't you hear the news? There is no rules or laws." She said, "Yeah, I heard." Finally, we got gas and drove home. Later that day, I was at soccer practice. We all lined up on the sideline. My coach said to do toe taps. Everybody started tapping their balls. I tried to focus but couldn't. I looked around at everybody, watching them tap their balls. I started getting tired, and finally my coach said stop. Then she said do foundations. Immediately we all started. I looked around and saw someone stop. He walked with the ball over to the net and started shooting. I saw that my coach saw him, but ignored him. Everyone looked up and saw him. For some reason, they all stopped and did the exact same thing. Are they crazy? I thought to myself. They all were shooting except for me. I walked up to my coach and said, "Shouldn't you be stopping them? They're breaking the rules." She said, "Didn't you hear the news? There is no rules or laws." "Yeah, I heard," I said. Surprisingly, I got to the rest of practice and the day. I got in my bed and fell asleep. The next day, I woke up and went downstairs and turned on the TV. The news was on. The reporter said, "All the people in the government are back, and rules and laws are enforced again." I thought to myself, yes! Without rules or laws, this is a bad world. Rules and laws are really important. Yesterday was rough without them. Thank goodness there are rules and laws again. Could be